Hello, everyone. It is Thursday, the 5th of September, 2024. And yesterday's video didn't really work out that well. It seems that I am on YouTube, so my strike must be over with. We'll see how long that lasts. There's even things that I say in my videos that are considered, not even considered, sorry, they're being tagged as medical misinformation or hate speech. And there's no examples or references given to me. I don't know if other content creators do get like the clips or like the section of their videos where people have concerns with, but I don't get that. And I do get my videos removed. And anytime I try to see why, they just give me like a whole, like the video, like the entire video, like, and then figure it out. Okay. And anyway, it is what it is. So I did want to talk about Megyn Kelly, her interview with some veterans that had worked with walls in the past, and she's calling up people that are on mainstream media, including this man named Adam Smith, who is in politics, and he absolutely lied about Waltz and the reason why he left his unit when he did, for politics, for political gain for himself, and he abandoned his troops. And yeah, and people will full out like Adam Smith whole that Waltz didn't leave because of abandoning his troops type stuff, and that he only knew that they were deploying to Iraq after he had already been in already had been running and out. And so that's not true. And so they reiterated that there were multiple meetings that he had where there was multiple the deployment and yeah, and then he didn't go. So that's all I wanted to talk about really yesterday. Jagmeet Singh, who is head of the NDP, Canadian politics. He and people were predicting what he was going to say, and even other politicians, including I think Michelle Ferreri. She's great. She is someone that I do that does work hard, and yeah, she does share a lot of truthful information on her social media platform, and I admire that because not a lot of them do that. Okay, so this was from Michelle Ferreri. She said, okay, here it comes. My prediction, the Jagmeet Singh, well, that's just his handle, will say he's pulling out of the coalition because he has a coalition. He's had it for over a year and a half now, I believe, maybe 2 years, with the Liberals. And this is what has been actively continuing to like ruin Canadian lives. And we have like, and our impact internationally as well is not helping Canadians at all either, or the people that we're assisting or enabling with these proxy wars and these war crimes and things like that. Anyway, he'll say his point is catastrophic policy. I'm really hoping I'm wrong. So and this is from Tonda McCharles. That's who she was responding to. And what is said is the NDP is to make an announcement at 1 p.m. More to come, as they say. So this was my prediction. He will condemn some of Justin Trudeau's policies, pull out of the coalition, but won't be firm on forcing an election. And that's exactly what he did. And so it's so predictable. And it's just, yeah, because it's just part of the script. Make us think that people are actually going to make a difference and actually force an election and get people that are within cabinet and the experts that they were colluding with and things like that in these military, in these government contractors, sorry, not just military at all, not even close. And investigate them. And Doug Ford and countless others, right? So like this is left and right, same bird. I keep saying that. And we'll see what this is. Another post I tagged. Mainstream media is silent on landmark ruling declaring PCR tests unreliable for COVID-19. In a groundbreaking legal decision, a Portuguese court has declared COVID-19 PCR tests unreliable, potentially up to 97%. Lockdown was illegal and unlawful. So this is from this is a reporting from the UK, but the same applies for Canada. and this is coming out from people that are still looking into the Freedom Convoy. A newly disclosed document from former RCMP Commissioner Brenda Lucky, she was head of the RCMP during the Freedom Convoy period, shows that both former and current RCMP members supported the 2022 Freedom Convoy protest at Parliament Hill in Ottawa. The document, detailed by the Western Standard, showed Lucky was looking into communications involving members and was actively searching on the ground that were part of bloc parties that like OPS, OPP, Parliamentary Protective Services, Special Forces, and we were also scheduling and coordinated like people like speaking events at the Freedom Convoy as well. And a veteran, for example, Cindy Little, she spoke and I assisted with her speech and stuff like that. This is how involved I was in a peaceful way. And so if she or anyone was looking for a convoy sympathizers or not sympathizers, but like if she wanted to communicate with people that were on the ground that wanted to share medical, scientific, and government data in a very peaceful way, I even offered to make cookies, make brownies, come to my house for some coffee. I would meet them anywhere. And I said that I would bring a hard drive of data. And multiple other people were saying that as well. I keep saying that, including Helen Bruce, who's still Ottawa Police Services. And she was getting shut down. And so this could be possible. I'm not saying it's not, but she was pushing a lot of the woke agenda and narrative throughout. So if she had like a change of fuck, then good on her, but too little too late sometimes. And I didn't hear any of that stuff. It went on to speculate, was the situation in Ottawa a failure of the Ottawa Police Service? Did the RCMP need the Emergencies Act to resolve the protests? Was it necessary? While it didn't answer most of these questions, it did note the RCMP was able to resolve numerous blockades in our jurisdiction, all within existing legislation. All records from the RCMP to date have concluded that the Freedom Convoy was peaceful. This was reinforced with the words of Deputy Commissioner Brian Brennan, where there was no serious violence in Ottawa. There was Richard Mosley, the federal judge who ruled that Cabinet acted unlawfully in imposing the Emergencies Act, confirming it was not justified. So even with like Richard Mosley, like a fucking hero, you are a Canadian hero for doing that. I remember January of this year, like this was ruled. And incredible. And so people are waking up. I'm hearing more and more through the grapevine that people within that have the legal authority to impact change in Canada and specifically in Parliament, they're waking up, and they have been over the last year or so. And so people are pushing lawsuits, court hearings, etc. And people are finally getting support, finding lawyers, finding legal aid, and people willing to assist. So it seems like it's more good news. It's slow, but it is what it is, and so. But yeah, Jagmeet Singh, he's never gonna like us, and he cares about his pension, and if it was deserved, that's one thing, but this guy, working Canadians who earned their money. And I'm going to share a video on that note, because even Redacted is talking about Canada. Oh my God. Oh no. I was just going to say that the internet seems to be working really well. Okay. I just refreshed it, so we'll see.
Well, it's no secret Canada is collapsing under the socialist policies of Justin Trudeau. Everything from housing to healthcare to free speech is in shambles and under attack in Canada. And Trudeau found out how his policies are resonating with average Canadians upon his visit to a steel manufacturing plant where he brought some
internet connection as best as possible. And so of it just means it'll be a shorter video. So yeah, during Labor Day weekend, I believe this was, Justin Trudeau was going out and giving donuts to hardworking men in Canada. There was probably women as well. We didn't see them on the video, or at least I didn't. And yeah, and there was this like 40% tax and paying out of pocket, even though like he's paying, so people have lazy neighbors, and they're not doing anything, and they're getting full benefits, full dental services, yet they're not, again, like I'm saying, like putting anything into the cup so that other people can take it out, if that makes any sense. And it's one thing, obviously, if people have disabilities, or if there's injuries, or things like that, you know what I mean? But if you are a able-bodied person, and you're taking away from your community, going towards people that are here temporarily, that are taking our jobs, that are taking our positions within schools, that are taking and in our homes, and
policies have done to him.
legend.
Well, we got donuts over here if you want to thank you for your hard work.
I can bring some for my kids here.
Okay. The 25% tariffs we just brought in on Chinese steel.
Yeah, that's going to keep my job back. And I don't have to. Yeah.
You can have a job.
I think you're all great. That's great.
And I look forward to everyone exercising the right to vote.
Yep.
Basic choice. Okay.
We're like 3 years behind.
Good job in coverage.
Yeah,
but we got
people.
senior.
Family. Every time we go for a dental visit, it's costing me about $50 in my pocket per person.
Okay.
Why?
You know what?
Lazy. Not he, sorry.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right.
Have a nice day.
Have a good day, sir. Good night. Right, the other guys got the donuts. Excellent.
Millennially after not only this worker and what the steel workers were saying to Justin Trudeau, but also his policies at large, because there's been a number of big developments on some new socialist policies. You, as always, believable piece that he's going to win the hearts and minds of these steel workers who are working day and night tirelessly. With some
Steel
donuts,
workers.
but it didn't go his way. What?
Morning on the Labor Day weekend, I believe it was CTV actually had put it up, and really hadn't been noticed until social media got hold of it. I think I was one of the first to put it up. And it's astounding about how much the workers love him for all of the work he's done and how
Yes, we certainly are. Okay. I'm going to try again. To load properly. I should, I'll start doing videos in another location as well, like away from here. Actually, I was going to talk about Bibi refusing a ceasefire. But before that, I do want to show Press for Truth, just to keep on with the, yeah, shows a lot of information. So his, for this video, it's titled, "Wake Up People, Donald Trump Will Not Release the Epstein List If He's Elected President." I agree.
Donald Trump is, should he get selected as the next president of the United States. And in this video, I'm going to prove that to you beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now, this is all stemming from a recent interview he just gave with this podcaster who asked him about Jeffrey Epstein. And in this video, which that if I am reelected, I will look at releasing this client list. Now, before we jump into the video, I want to point out that there's already been quite the reaction online, seeing stuff like this everywhere. Whoa, Trump plans to release the Jeffrey Epstein client list. Now you know why people in America will do anything to stop the truth from coming out. Or this one, breaking, Trump plans to release the Jeffrey Epstein client list. This is why they will do whatever it takes to stop him from being elected. And I want to remind you guys that these are the exact same type of people who believed that he's going to Hillary Clinton in jail. These are the same people who believed him back then in 2016 when he said he was going to declassify all of the JFK related assassination records, but then he ended up siding with the CIA and the FBI.
That's a rabbit hole.
Keep the documents secret. In fact, he's now promising to do it again, guys. So again, if you think that the deep state was just incapable of taking out, you know, Donald Trump because of his connections with Jeffrey Epstein and his partner in crime, Ghislaine Maxwell, well, you're sadly mistaken. They've had plenty of time to do such a thing, folks. No, that is not what's going on here. In this video, I'm going to break it all down for you forward. I'm going to break down everything he says in this interview in regards to his response on what to do with Jeffrey Epstein. We're going to talk about this and much, much more in this video, guys. But really quickly, before we do, I'd ask that you check me out here at subscribestar.com/pressfortruth. Here you can sign up for a monthly reoccurring coverage within your means is very greatly appreciated. I cannot continue to do this work without the support that comes directly from you, the viewer. So if you guys have been watching Press for Truth and you have yet to contribute, please consider clicking that top link in the description below of whatever video platform you happen to be watching this on today. Thank you so much to everybody who takes 1 minute. All right, guys, I want to start with this. This is a article from New York Magazine from October of 2002. 22 years ago, titled Jeffrey Epstein, International Man of Mystery. And I'll put links to all of this in the description below so you can check it all out for yourself. But if you scroll down here, this is a very telling paragraph right here. Epstein likes to tell people that he's a loner, far from energetic. And if you talk to Donald Trump, a different Epstein emerges. Here Trump says, I've known Jeff for 15 years. Again, he's saying this in 2002, that he's known Jeff, he calls him, he says he's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it. Jeffrey Epstein enjoys his social life. And this is the same man who was Jeffrey Epstein, the man who was a convicted pedophile, sitting here partying with the man, sort of dancing and looking at here. He says, watch this. He points at a girl. He makes a comment that this girl's hot over here. And, he says something that causes Epstein to just turn around in laughter, like, oh, wow, I can't believe he said that or whatever. Keep in mind, guys, that this is happening in 1992. Now, I want to point you to this Guardian article here that points out that teen models and powerful men on Pride Year comes towards the Statue of Liberty. It was clear, breezy evening, and from the upper deck of the Spirit of New York, a golden sunset could be seen, glinting off the Manhattan skyline. Downstairs, a party was in flow. Scores of teenage girls in evening dresses and miniskirts, some as young as 14, danced under the disco lights. It could have been a high school prom, were it not for the crowd of older men surrounding them. Fathers or even grandfathers joined them on the dance floor, pressing themselves against the girls. One balding man in a suit wrapped his arm around two young models, leering into a film camera that was documenting the evening, saying, "Can you get some more beautiful women around me, please?" The party aboard the Spirit of New York has several events that Donald Trump, then 45 years old, attended with a group of 58 aspiring young models that September. They had traveled from around the world to compete since 1983 and was already credited with Seymour with the world's leading modeling agency, Elite Model Management, run by John Casablancas. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Trump was closely involved in Casablanca's competition. In 1991, he was the headline sponsor, throwing open the Plaza, his lavish chateau-style hotel overlooking Central Park, transforming it into the main venue and accommodating the young girls. He was one of the 10 judges. In 1992, the following year, Trump hosted the competition again. On a similarly golden evening in September of that year, another group of contestants boarded the Spirit of New York and chartered for another elite cruise. One of the girls on the boat was Shauna Lee. Now listen to this. She was then 14 years old from a small town outside of Toronto. She recalls how the contestants were encouraged to parade downstairs one by one and dance for Trump, Casablancas, and others. Lee, an introverted teenager who loved to draw, she was pushing me. She ran downstairs and dancing in front of those two, laser, and go do it. So I spun around and walked away. Old girl. In 1992, right around the same time that Jeffrey Epstein was hanging out with Donald Trump, as they were both, ogling young ladies. And let's not forget the quote from the New York Magazine saying it's believed that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. So what was said in this interview, and again, will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that he's going to do no such thing in regards to releasing the Jeffrey Epstein client list. So let's take a listen here.
There's a moment where you had some hesitation about Epstein, releasing some of the documents on Epstein.
I never went to.
Involved, he said, but we do have the Epstein flight logs where Donald Trump was on the plane at least 7 times. These are the receipts straight from the court records in the Ghislaine Maxwell case. So we know he's been involved. We've seen the violence.
Oh, that's fair.
A lot of people did.
Why do you think so many smart, powerful people allowed him to get so close?
This day, things like him being
Islands that they'd throw around like islands, but a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
now. When he says big people, we're talking about politicians, famous, movie stars and actors, but more importantly, people who have a large this honey trap operation and held oaks. Well, that's what he's talking about here, and that's what this list refers to.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way.
So if you're able to, you'll be.
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. You know, they do that for danger too, because
He brings up years ago, and in case you guys.
Okay, I'll try sharing again because it's very interesting.
When he was asked about what on earth he was doing on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, he gave probably one of the worst answers you could possibly give. He essentially said, yeah, I was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, but I knew a lot of people, bad people at the time who I didn't necessarily know they were bad.
Well, O.J. Simpson came to my house. Bill Cosby came to my house.
His answer is basically like, I've hung out with a lot of rapists and murderers. It seems just insane. And speaking of Kennedy, guys, may I remind you that Trump did claim that he was going to release the JFK related assassination records back in 2016, and he still promising that he's going to declassify all these records if he is reelected. I can't believe people are buying this. Let's continue.
Endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy, but
trying to do the Epstein thing, I would have no problem with doing that. Guys, I want to point out to you this to me when I saw that, I was like, what? This is absolutely blatant and insane. So again, if you think that this man is now, going to release these Epstein client lists after he promised to drain the swamp, after he promised the JFK files, after he promised to, expose 9/11, all of these things he was saying to his, fan base, and none of them happened. Why will this Epstein client list should he get selected as the next president of the United States? It just blows my mind that I even have to make this video, guys. This is why I wanted to point you to this, debunking the false political hopium paradigm for veterans of the indie media with combined experience totaling nearly 80 years came together to discuss the ramping up of political propaganda surrounding Donald Trump and the U.S. presidential selection. They discussed the importance of understanding the divide and conquer tactics, fifth generation warfare, and the mainstream alternative media, the side of the political puppet show. And in this podcast, we have James Corbett, the Corbett Report, of course, myself, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media, Aaron and Melissa Agabon.
So if you're interested in his content, take a look at that. I do want to share another video. He's fun.
Hey, come see us on tour. Be in Duluth, Georgia, Jacksonville, Florida, Los Angeles, Tempe, Arizona, and Burbank, California. Go to Midor.com for a link for those tickets. Mass protests are up in Israel.
We don't know for sure if they were executed by Hamas. There have been hostages that were released, that were saying that they knew of people that died Israeli hostages. So as they were getting released, as they were walking towards them, also shooting Israeli hostages. And I will reiterate, on the 7th of October, during that attack, IDF and other government and the crowd, okay, killing hundreds of people. And people have even people within Hamas and Palestine have been calling for peace, have been calling for a ceasefire, have been trying to release, but also get Israel to stop what they're doing within Gaza and the West Bank, but specifically Gaza, and all the crimes against humanity that are being committed.
That the Israeli government has bombed places where there are hostages. We know that.
Israelis,
more than 500,000 Israelis have taken to the streets demanding Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu secure an immediate deal. So even the people in Israel know that commitment to a hostage deal is not Hamas, it's Benjamin Netanyahu. On September 2nd, 500,000 people demonstrated in Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, more to accept a ceasefire deal to return the remaining hostages. Benjamin Netanyahu does not want the ceasefire deal. There's been a deal to return the hostages on the table for a while. The person who doesn't want it is figured this out deal. It was not of the West Bank, so they can take it over. That's what this was always about. That's why they allowed the October 7th terrorist attack to happen, or attack by Hamas. By the way, the UN says that if you're being occupied, you have a right to fight back. So this is not a matter of right or
Just wanna see if
left.
the
It is a matter of
payload-
life and death.
I'll try again.
All the heads of
Let's
this
see if it pops up.
security establishment support the deal, the ceasefire deal to get the hostages out. You know who does it? Benjamin Netanyahu. And it's the government's responsibility to bring our hostages home. It's inconceivable that our children will not be returned because of narrow considerations and interests. Well, that's exactly what Bibi Netanyahu's doing. He doesn't want a deal. Trump found out he doesn't want a deal. And now the people of Israel find out that it's Benjamin Netanyahu that doesn't want a deal. The families of detained Israeli settlers in Gaza in a protest who in his cabin slain Israeli 10 times to protect him from the army strikes. Alexander Lobanov accused Netanyahu of abandoning captives. He urged Israelis to protest for their safe return before his death. So Israeli hostage and to classified 10 times to protect him from Israeli strikes.
Okay, well, I'll see if I can read. Demonstrators lit a bonfire during a protest and scuffed on Tuesday, demanding a ceasefire deal and the immediate release of hostages held by Hamas. And so, yeah, there are people within Israel, Jewish people within Israel, or crimes against humanity against Manoy people. I was going to talk about and insert, and I have the insert. I was going to show it, but maybe I won't just because of the exception. But when it talks about unvaccinated people coming in contact, there is shedding, or other people that are inoculated too. And so the recommendation of staying in your home for 4 weeks after inoculation so that you don't spread it. I can't say much saying there were COVID-19 via inoculation. and and spreading to other people. I don't want to continue to annoy. And